Hello, everybody. This week we're talking about formatting things in a web page, and so I was going to do a little video on how to create a table. One thing that you'll often find in web pages, one of the most common things you'll be asked to do is create tables. So this was built into HTML because the World Wide Web was originally, of course, developed primarily for academic use, and there was a lot of need for data and tables. So we just go to the website that we've created, our index page, open it with the text editor. I promise we'll be getting to some of the other functions of Dreamweaver and stuff like that, but for now we're learning how to hand code using a text editor. So here we have what we've done before, just as my home page, and if we look at that with a web browser, if you remember, all we have is "Hello World" there. So kind of boring. Now we talked about adding an attribute to the body tag to create a different background color. That was the bgcolor tag. But what if you wanted to add, say, an image? So the first thing you have to have is go into your file structure and make sure in your image folder you have a background image. I have this one called Cool Background. It's the only image in there besides the pie image. So in order to do that, we could add a background attribute here. Just simply background equals, and then we have to tell it where it is, images, and then in images it's cool hyphen background. I believe it's JPEG, and if I did this right, that should now be the background. So let's take a look, refresh that, and there you see that is the background. Now, since I'm using black text, it doesn't look so great. We'll get into how to change text color and stuff like that. We've already talked a little bit about it, but for now, let's just stick to a plain white background. We'll get rid of this for now, but that's how you put it in there. It's another attribute just called background, and then you say equals and where the place where it's to be found, which is your images folder, slash, and the name of the file. Okay, let's remove that and get down to what I really wanted to talk about, which is how to create a table. As you might guess, the tag for creating a table is called table. And whenever you have an opening tag like that, you need to close it, which is the same tag with a slash in front of it. So table starts here, table ends there. Now, tables are made up of rows and columns, and what we put in is we enter the data row by row. So it would be TR for table row to add a new row. And then in that row, of course, we have to close that row since we created a row. In that row, we need individual cells, and those are TD. And then for every TD cell you create, you need to close it. Let's just do 3 here. And one more. I'm just going to copy paste. There we go. And then we'll make those A, B, and C. Save that. Refresh our page. ABC right there. It is a table, even though you can't tell it if you highlight it, you'll see there's a little space between each of those. So let's add some more rows here. So we just copy this and we'll paste it and paste it again. Save that. Refresh that. And then you see we have ABC, ABC, ABC. Okay. Now, that's nice and all, but doesn't look much like a table yet. So what we're going to want to do is create a border around that stuff. And that is done by adding an attribute to the table. Basically, the attribute is border equals, and then in quotes we put in a value. The value is the number of pixels wide you want the border. So I'm just going to put in 4 and save that. Refresh it, and now you can see the table has a border there. Let me magnify this. I'm just zooming in. Okay, so there we have a table with a border, 4 pixels wide. You can make that whatever you want. Now, let's change these cells to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Refresh that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay. And then say maybe we want to leave the E blank. Just delete that. Save. Open it up. Refresh. You can see that is now empty. Now, there are other ways we can format this particular table. One that you already know is bgcolor. So we could put in, change the background color by adding a background color attribute. And we'll put in that hexadecimal code. Now you could add this attribute to any of these. You could add it to a row so that everything in the row would be that color, or you could even add it to an individual cell next to the TD and just to make one particular cell that color. And then we refresh and you can see we now have a blue table. All right. I want to lighten it up some, so I'm going to change that hexadecimal color to CCCCFF, which will hopefully lighten it up some. There we go. Nice light blue. Okay, what else we can do here is we can create more space around our letters by creating more padding in the cell. It's what's known as padding, and the attribute is, of course, called cell padding. So we just go to the, if we want to do it for the whole table, we go to the table border tag, the table tag, and put in cell padding equals, and then again in pixels, let's make it 20. And then save that. If we refresh, you will now see that, oh, I did something wrong. All right, what did I do wrong? Let's see if we remove the quotes, if it'll like that better. There we go. So I guess with HTML5, they've taken away the requirement for quotes in a lot of things. So if we take out the quotes, now you see we've got a nice spacing there. Now that's cell padding. Cell spacing is actually this space in between them. So let's like double that or something. So right now we've got that. The cell spacing equals, let's go with 8. Save. And then we'll refresh this. Now you can see that we've doubled the width of these. So it's looking pretty good. Nice table there.